2021. I don't have nor need a reflective introductory statement about the year at large. You read the title, you know what we're in for. Dune is not in the best list, and He's All That is not in the worst list. Nut-topped ice cream is an unbeatable theatre snack, and my gooch is really itchy. These years you can hear the ear-splitting buzz of Fortnite, Twitch streaming, fast food chains catching onto viral meme formats, whole movies that exist specifically to force our gargling on the collective splooge of how many intellectual properties that a media monopoly can store in their swelling groin sack. So why wouldn't a movie like Free Guy exist? Ryan Reynolds stars as an NPC in an open-world online game that gains sentience and wants to find the truth about his world. Well, actually, no. He has to deal with the rest of the world finding him hot and funny. I bet his publicist slipped the screenwriter a good buckaroo. Movies like Free Guy will go on to remain, just like the AIs in this gameaverse, as empty husks of themselves, parading shallow generic messages like, it's not all about the money, while helicoptering its afforded rights to the Avengers theme song. 100 grand bounty for anyone who can locate a small child that will sit through this one without asking to go to the toilet. I watched Memoria in a tiny theatre with only 2 other people, and I was wriggling restlessly around in my seat for most of the time, but I managed to keep my eyes glued to the screen for this piece of slow cinema that begins with a jump scare, and then an extended shot of 20 car alarms going off in the nighttime. Apichatpong Weerasethakul is one of the newer masters of meditative slow cinema, and even if some of these scene settings are decidedly more mundane than usual, I still broke goosebumps several times. Jazz band, Dead Eyes, FL Studio, Sonic Boom. Those will only make sense if you're willing to stare into silent space for 2.5 hours, so maybe I should have just spoilt it instead. A mute Nicolas Cage shotguns soda and fights a sloth of fursuits in this Dutch-tilted, lens-glaring, fish-eyed, badly edited adaptation of the Five Nights at Freddy's idea. The times that you laugh will likely be on accident. There are some funny cleaning time-lapses here, set to nebbish synthwave music, and one big unintentional laugh.
Some would say things they weren't programmed to say.
Wanna fuck, fatty?
Aside from that, this is bad. It cakes it at being a horror, and doubly fails in the action category, assuming the cameraman busted open as many drink cans as Nick Cage did here. On the other hand, one of the good Nick Cage movies from last year was not actually the Sion Sono film Prisoners of the Ghostland, the one where one of his testicles gets blown up. It was Pig, directed by Michael Sarnowski, and co-starring a little cheeky runt, and also a pig. A pig that Cage, the ex-chef mushroom forager, must retrieve from the city after she gets kidnapped by bandits. The dimly lit forest and sentimental tone might lead you to believe that this is going to be John Wick but twice as melodramatic, but it's also fun and warm and hungry, and also reminds you of the simple healing quality of good food. Baker's breads take hours of labour, patience, and lost sleep. Don't underappreciate them. No, the new Candyman movie was not good, and nearly everything about it was half-assed. The boring conversations, the forced motivations, the overuse of mirror shots. Oh, I get it, it's because he appears in mirrors. The clinical, empty-looking apartments, the goofy violence better suited for a Blumhouse movie, the shallow ruminations on being an artist, the very last shot, failing to make Candyman look like more than just a dude in a trench coat. It's all a bunch of passionless homages that we're expected to kowtow to. Another movie that overuses mirror shots also bothers to at least do a few interesting things with them. Actually, I can count all the things that I didn't like about Last Night in Soho on 2 hands, but I maintain that you can make a bad story good by telling it well. And golly, does Edgar Wright's latest fashionista slice of pop art wallow in the noise. It's not that the frightening scenes are just loud, it's that they're loud and they go on for a bit, holding you in the stress until sweats break. In Halloween Kills, the sequel to the 2018 Halloween sequel, Jamie Lee Curtis delivers a monologue, saying the metaphor out loud essentially, about how Michael Myers, her brother who murdered her whole family decades ago, represents the fear that divides America. Sure, Jamie, but if you ask me, I think he represents the fear of a tall man with a big knife. Even beyond the 100 tracking shots of characters running, I adored Licorice Pizza, a movie about a not great romance between 2 not great people with big, inachievable dreams, rolling under the shadow of the doomed feeling that, golly gee willikers, this won't turn out so good for them. So many good scenes involving backwards truck driving and false arrest warrants and Tom Waits, and yeah, PTA just sort of throws them together with no total coherence, you know, like he usually does, but the general taste is of rancid laughs and shit fashion, in a good way, I promise. Ding ding ding, Space Jam: A New Legacy signifies the economic collapse and IP cinema eating itself alive. King James got a good check and King Kong's ass is itchier than ever. Wubba lubba dub dub. Believe me, the movie about the beach that makes you grow old rapidly may have a tacked-on ending that over-explains what would have best been an abstract omen, but Old is still the best movie experience that I had last year, in which M. Night Shyamalan disorients the audience in dazzlingly creative ways, multiple characters standing in frame, and then we hear a speaking voice belonging to none of them, or blocking out sound as a character discovers that they're going deaf, or a character moving 360 degrees to dizzy out the viewer. Ah yes, unlike 90% of movies that I saw last year, this was actually daring and exciting. Maybe I'm just being a bit too cynical.
In my ass on the chair, you just can't compare. Never off my bullshit, they call me Bars von Trier. Pull up in my Honda Civic from 2001. Sort out business with some fools, and if my children do the same, then I'll be proud of my son. You act like clowns like it's fun, I still got yarns being spun. Make your crib look like it was hit by mushroom clouds when we're done.